here on our classroom page, we're going to look at the assignment. And the documents that you will need to do this assignment effectively are here. Past questions and notes on answers, and the ophthalmic pathology curriculum. Okay, so what I want you to do is look at your topic, which I'm going to show you where it is in a moment. These are all the topics that I think are commonly asked in the exams. There's 16 of you. I think I've done the first 16 assignments randomly, and then there's a 17th one. If you want to swap out, you can do that one instead. So I'm going to ask you to do 5 PowerPoint slides, just one slide for each of these questions. This is the assignment, one slide for each of these questions. And on slide 1, what are the topics commonly asked, and what are the tasks? That's actually slide 2. So for example, in the eyelid, what are the topics commonly asked? And then it might be like BCC, SCC, chalazion, what else is asked in the lid? Melanoma, nevus, okay? And then the tasks that are asked. So do they usually ask on slide 2, do they usually ask the natural history? Do they usually ask how to send it to the lab? Okay. And then on slide 3, did you understand what they were asking? Okay, so all the questions that you've reviewed, did you understand what they were asking? If you didn't, make a list of the things you didn't understand, like the difference between etiology and pathogenesis. Okay, so that's slide 2. On slide 3, I want you to choose a question from a recent paper, and without looking at the answer, try and write an answer. And then I want you to look at your answer and the answer that the previous registrar has written. And I want you to look, was the model answer a good one? Was your answer better? What did you learn from comparing the 2 answers? I don't want you to like show us the answers. I just want you to say things like, it's really important when answering histopathology questions that you go from clinical to low power to high power. You know, what insights did you get? And then what are your top tips for answering the questions in your topic? That's the last thing. And I'm going to get you to talk about it for 5 minutes when we cover that topic over the next couple of sessions. So it's a kind of meta-analysis of what you need to do. What are the tasks asked? What are the topics asked? If you answer these kind of questions, what's a good way and bad way to go about it? And what tips you can give the other registrars? Do you understand what? I'm going to stop sharing now and get you all back on. Do you understand that assignment?
Sorry, yep. Where are the model answers?
Okay, I will show you on the classroom here. So if we go back to classroom, past questions and notes on answers.
You're not sharing, you're still on.
I'll stop sharing. I've stopped sharing.
Can you share again?
I can share again.
Can't see your classroom yet.
Okay, share. Here we go. So here we go. We have, right, here's the classroom. They're here. So this is the introduction. Right, these are the notes from the Eagle textbook that I mentioned. And these are the questions and answers from previous people. So this person here who's previously done it has done a really good job of, putting together the questions in categories. You don't need to do that. That's already been done for you. Yeah. And then this person here has actually put them together, I think, in terms of years that they were asked. Okay, so we have lots and lots of questions and answers that we can look at.
Thank you.
Okay, assignment. This is your student topic match here. Okay, so there's your names and there's your topics. Good, and assignment 2 is here. And that is the globe practical, where I want you to go and look at Kura Cloud and do the globes that we've put up there. But before you begin, remember, you have to have that base knowledge. So I want you to study the histopathologic, actually should be etiology, pathogenesis. Pathogenesis. Histopathology and prognostic features of these 4 conditions. And then using the how to approach a slide structure, go in and do the lessons here, okay? So that's the second assignment. And now, Amanda, over to you.
Okay. So I'm just going to do a share a PowerPoint. So yeah, another big three breaths and wave your arms around, oxygen going to your brain. And I'm going to share about how we're going to learn virtual slides in the together setting. Share screen. So the technique that we use is called pair programming. It comes from computer programming, but we're not programming computers, we're learning slides. And we've adapted this for use for learning digital slides for new people. And we found it an effective way to do it because we're all about time efficiency, right? Who's got more time? Nobody. Let me explain to you how it works. So in the next week's class, you will be assigned a partner. And what we are doing is called promiscuous pair programming. So different partners. So let's say here's James over here. James has the textbook and Rena has the virtual slide. This is how it works. What has been your experience of, let's just start with where you're at. Oops. Of learning pathology from virtual slides. Can you just type a few comments into the chat box so that I know where you are and where you're at with that? And I can't see anything because I'm sharing screen.
No, so I'm watching. So type in whether you've used them before or...
What's your experience? You love it, you hate it, got lost?
So we're having none and very little experience, and
okay.
It's easy to get lost, minimal experience. It's pretty overwhelming without much direction. That's why we've
yep.
Using this technique and the Kura Cloud. Yep.
So I don't hear any happy face answers, Diane. I hear shock and thinking and puzzlement. And
yeah.
You're aligned. So there's none of this. We don't do this anymore. It's all on your computer, right? This is how learning computer programming used to be done. You'd have a whole computer class and then one person, one person, one computer, and you'd learn individually, but sort of in the same room. It's slower, it's boring, and people get lost, just like you've said. Now, this is the modern way to do it. Pair program, an efficient learning of computer programming. So you have 2 people working together and they share one screen. It's faster and it's more efficient. How does this really work? Let's break it all down. There's 2 people. It's like in a rally. There is one person who's the driver, who's driving the slide in this case, or the car, and there's the navigator who is looking out the window and providing direction. So when we go into computer pair programming or computer slide learning, there is one person who's the driver who has the mouse, right? They've got the mouse. And the other person has the textbook or the e-textbook or the whatever it is, looking up stuff on the internet, and is the navigator. let's go and have a look at the orbit chapter. No, I think it's in the lacrimal gland chapter, whereas the driver is driving. So it splits the cognitive load. So driver, navigator, got it? Simple concept. Hard to do though, because everybody wants to drive. So how does this work with virtual slides? Here we go. So James has got the textbook or e-book, and Rena is driving. Rena has got the keyboard and mouse. James keeps his hands off the keyboard and mouse. Restrain himself. And you have to think aloud and share ideas. So Rena says, what about this part here? You know, I think this is a retinal detachment. I think this is a globe lesion. So James turns to the globe parts in the textbook. Rena says, I think it's a melanoma. James looks in the melanoma bit and thinks, oh no, I think it could be a retinoblastoma. So there's this constant discussion of ideas backwards and forwards. And the good thing is you get the perspective of another person, because you can get lost if it's just you thinking down one track and you don't think alternatively. So you're doing peer learning, pair programming. And then because everybody likes to drive, the next slide, you see, we've got here, it's a bit of cornea, you swap roles. So now James is driving, he's got the keyboard and mouse, and Rena has the textbook or the computer that's looking up stuff on the internet, or the AAO or the e-textbook, and you continue to talk aloud. So you both get good at driving and navigating, but it works twice as fast. Now, here is the next iteration on that, promiscuous pair programming. Typically when Diana and I will do a teaching session, we'll give you a set of, say, 4 globe slides, and you'll be doing pair programming together. Then we'll have a break, morning tea, and then after morning tea, you'll come back and we'll do something else. We'll do conjunctival lesions, in which case you get a different partner. So that's promiscuous pair programming, so that you don't form unhealthy alliances with your best friend. It's random, and then you'll be redistributed, and it's really good for seeing things from another perspective and communicating well. So that's a good, well, it's a professional learning skill. So that's promiscuous pair programming. So in comes Josh, who is now talking with Rena, and Rena is driving. So that's how we do it in class, physically face-to-face. Any questions about that? And Diane will monitor, because I can't see the questions at the same time.
So this is giving you a taste of what to expect next week. When we're spending 6 hours together, we'll be doing a lot of practical looking at globes, and you'll be doing it in pairs, helping each other find things, and we'll be coming in and out of the chat rooms and then coming together and discussing what we've seen. So you will be skeptical. How can something like this actually work? Well, because you're all scientifically based, I have got a good meta-analysis for you here of over 3,000 students. This is a forest plot. In the center is the 0 point. Notice as the studies get more developed in age, you know, we're getting better at teaching and learning, the overall effect size is positive. It's got an effect size of around 0.6, which is a medium to large effect on learning. And what's it good for? It's productivity, it's faster, you get fewer errors, and so that's the cognitive thing. And also people show higher confidence, satisfaction, and enjoyment. So we want it to be fun. It actually is more fun. It actually is more fun doing it this way, and more effective at actually getting you to learn what to see on slides. So that's what we're going to be doing. Because
you spot each other's holes and mistakes, and then you think, oh my God, I forgot to say that. You have an emotional response, and then you don't do it again next time. Because it's fear of failure in front of your peers, but it's kind of be nice to each other. and we're there all the time being your safety net and teachers. Yeah, and we'll be popping into your breakout rooms. So how does this work over Zoom, right? So we've talked about the setup, which is good, and I can see all of you now, but it is important that when you're working with somebody, they can see you and see your eyes. So no dark shadows allowed. And I don't want views of like your ceiling without your face. So that's really unfriendly. this is how we're going to do it over Zoom. So here's James, maybe in Wellington with the textbook or e-textbook. And here is his peer, Rena, who may be in Sydney, and she is driving. But because Rena is driving, she shares the screen, right? So, you know, there's the green thing around the person who's sharing the screen. So James is looking at Rena's screen. James and Rena are talking to each other. And James has got the textbook here. So you're not sharing the textbook screen. James has to talk about what he can see, for example. So you're looking at the same screen and you're talking about the same thing. And sharing ideas. And then you swap. James is the driver when you get onto the next slide, and James shares the screen and Rena uses her textbook. Okay, same idea. And then after the break, you change to a different partner. In comes Josh. Josh is talking to James. Same idea. So we're swapping around. New session, new partner. Only one driver, and you have to work together. It just breaks up your cognitive load. And we've used this for 3 years now. It works really well. But you have to have the right mindset that it's not all about, I'm going to do it all by myself. Or, you know, and actually this way you're going to be forced to do it because it's so hard to look at a textbook screen at the same time. It's going to be easier when you work with your partner. And it's just so much fun because you fall into holes together and save yourself, and it's all good. Right, any questions there, Diane?
No questions there. Any questions, team? All right, good. So we're going to look at lots of slides next week, doing lots of work. Yeah.
I think, and we're going to have a little practice, a practice of a
practice
pair
now?
program. Right now. Yes, we are. So hang on, Diane's going to put you into breakout rooms of pairs, and if there's a spare, then we'll have a triplet. But first of all, I'm going to put the URL of a virtual slide into the chat box. So you're all to open up in your browser the URL of the virtual slide, which I'm just about to go and find here. Hang on, let me get that up. Introductory day. Practice slides so that you can get there, type. Oops, that's not right, is it? Okay, so look in the chat box. So there's 2 practice slides I've put up. Okay, first, it's not a secret. First is a uveal melanoma and the second is a retinoblastoma. So there's one for each person. So if you can click on the link and open that up in your browser so that you've got at least one thing open. You don't have to have, just choose one slide.
How about the top one? They all do the uveal melanoma.
Okay, sounds good. Open that up in your browser. Now, can you tell me when you're successful with that? Because this is just checking if you're going to have any technical issues as well. So all good? Is there anybody who's having problems so that we can help you?
No.
Myers, problem.
We're still saying loading annotation, so it hasn't loaded anything yet.
Okay, give it a minute.
Yeah.
We know Patterson North's a long way from anywhere else.
Oh yeah, it's all good now.
Yeah.
Anybody else having a problem?
Okay.
Okay. Now, can you also, in a different tab in the browser or a different browser, open up e-resource, something on uveal melanoma?
Or open your book.
Yeah, if you have a physical textbook, open your physical textbook to uveal melanoma. Yep. So Moaz, you're onto it. Because you can't go offline with a physical textbook. We love it. So just go to, it'll be under globe, melanocytic lesions, uveal melanoma.
The tumors chapter, you see that?
Yeah. Who can give us the page number? Share.
202 in Eagles.
Okay.
I think iris melanoma, or which melanoma are we looking at?
It's a globe, so it'll be
uveal melanoma, choroidal melanoma.
Choroidal.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got the navigators ready and the drivers ready. Now you have to negotiate when you get thrown into your breakout room, who's going to drive and who's going to navigate. We're not going to tell you, and it may well be who's got a good internet connection and who's got the book to hand. Okay, and we're going to give you 5 minutes in the breakout room. So you just one role, one navigator, one driver, 5 minutes, there'll be a countdown timer, and Diane and I will pop into your room virtually, like sort of fairy godmother, I suppose, and see how you're going. And then after 5 minutes, you'll get thrown back into this main room. Are we ready?
Okay, right. So are you doing breakout rooms or am I doing breakout rooms, Amanda?
I think you have to do it because I don't have it in my menu thing.
All right, assign 12 participants to 2 rooms.
No, other way around.
No, so
because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, 12. So we need 6 rooms.
6 rooms.
Yeah.
Well, you might get assigned to a room because
yes.
I've got 13 participants here.
If we get assigned to a room, that's okay.
2 to 3 participants per room. All right, create breakout rooms.
I don't think hosts get assigned to a breakout, do we?
Anyway, we'll add.
We're sharing our learning with you.
Yeah, we are, because this is new to us. All right, so I'm going to create breakout rooms. Options. Open all rooms. Oh, right, I'm assign. Right, okay. Those 2 can go to that room.
Yeah, I don't have the option in my...
Those 2 can go to that room.
Are you putting...
Putting them in manually so you don't get assigned to a room.
Okay.
And everyone's going in alphabetically at the moment.
It's a good way to do things. Anatomically or alphabetically. You've got to have a structure.
All right, hang on. 2, breakout room 6. Assign, all right. I've assigned you all to rooms, except for Amanda. Open all rooms. Okay, so
Do you want us to click join to join?
Yeah, click join to join your partners in your rooms.
Have you been invited, Chris?
Yes, I might have to do it again.
You should be there with Cam from Nelson.
Otherwise, Cam will be by himself. Okay.
I'll just join Cam and say that Chris.
I'm coming.
Oh, Diane went, okay. Well, never mind. Chris, we can do pair programming together.
Sounds good.
Okay, so what do you want to be, the driver or the navigator?
I might, look, I'll be the driver, why not?
Okay, you open up the slide and share the screen.
Okay, so share screen.
Oops, I'm just going to set the timer, start.
Yep.
5 minutes. And therefore, I'm going to open up.
Can you see that?
Yes, fabulous. I know this slide so well. Okay, I'll just pretend I've got Eagle here because it's in here. So.
Right. So Chris, you still can't join.
That's all right. I'm doing pair programming with Chris. I'm Chris's partner.
So I should do it with.
You go and do it with Cam then.
I'll do it with Cam. Okay.
No problem. So.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right, Chris. So we've got to follow our 6-part structure because that's how we describe our slides. As I understand. So part 1 is, I understand that we have to describe what we have and the normal structures.
Yeah, so this is a whole globe, a nucleation specimen. We're in a PO axis. And we have a large tumour up in the top right, which is predominantly blue with small, I suppose, foci of pigment within.
So as the navigator, I would say top right isn't really an anatomical location, is it?
Sure, sure.
Where would
Yeah, so So arising from the choroid in the, oh, I don't really have an orientation here, but sort of at roughly the, mid-peripheral retina.
Yeah, maybe equator.
Yeah, yep. Sounds good. Yeah, so it's predominantly basophilic. It's got some areas of pigmentation within, and it sort of looks like some artifactual clefts around those areas of pigmentation.
What's the shape? Curious
Right.
shape. Shape.
Yeah,
The whole
sort of
tumor shape.
shape of the tumor. Yeah, so I suppose you could call it mushrooming.
It's a half a mushroom, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's got
And the
one.
posterior aspect is mushrooming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
then,
so what would it look like looking from, if I was looking in through the pupil, what would it look like?
yeah, so you'd see a large, probably pigmented mass, obstructing your view of half the retina, really.
Mm.
Yeah, it'd be pretty nasty.
Well, according to the Eagle book, you're allowed to have dome,
Yep.
mushroom, or diffuse.
Okay.
What do you say?
So I'd probably put it somewhere between dome and mushroom.
Sounds good to me. All right. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then I suppose looking around at other things. So there looks like there's a so we'll start front to back. So cornea looks unremarkable, though maybe a tiny bit swollen, but we'd get to that on high power. Anterior chamber's fairly shallow, but the angles look open. The ciliary body looks relatively normal as well. It looks like there's detachment of the retina that looks fairly artifactual to me.
Yep. So according to the book, if there is no like pink exudate in there, most likely it's torn off, therefore artifactual. So the next thing, according to our exam structure, is we have to describe more of the pathology, and we've done a good job of describing the low power. What about the pathology higher power, medium power? So if you scroll the mouse wheel, you'll go higher.
That's a bit too high. Hang on.
Ooh.
Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is okay. All right. So that seem, what do you reckon? A bit higher power than that?
Yeah, that's about right.
That's
Okay.
about right.
So architecture first. Eagle says architecture, then cytology. How's it all arranged?
Yeah. So I mean, it looks to me it looks fairly sheet-like. So there's just sort of lots of waves of fairly similar looking cells, with these sort of streaks of sort of interspersed.
Yeah. So sheets of cells has the architecture, and then we have to describe the cytology of the cells. And there are 3 options according to the book. You're allowed to have spindled, epithelioid, or mixed.
Yeah. So
a bit closer, maybe.
Yeah, we'll go up a little bit closer. So I mean, to me, these ones up here look a little bit more epithelioid to me.
So yes, according to the book, epithelioid is sort of more rounded shape with rounded cytoplasm, and then spindled is more elongated like that.
Yeah. So I mean, these ones look, oh sorry, that's not really loading yet on my screen, but these ones up here kind of give you the impression that they're a little bit more elongated, we're a bit more ovoid, so possibly mixed.
Maybe mixed,
but I'm
yes.
happy to be corrected.
And Eagle says nucleoli should be prominent. Is this true? Can we see that?
Oh, hang on, I keep going the wrong way, sorry. let's go into when that loads.
It takes a little while to load, depends on your internet connection.
Yeah.
So a
It's
lower
not good.
power. So we would describe the pathology, then we have to have a differential diagnosis. Do we have a differential diagnosis, Chris? Oh, the other thing that we missed out, is it making any pigment, you know, because we know that this looks like a tumor, right? If it's an adult, it's unlikely to be retinoblastoma. So we just know that it could be uveal melanoma, but how about a met? If it's making melanin, then it's unlikely to be a met. It'll be a melanin making thing. If you see the shape of it, if you have a look down at see the collar button, the indentation of the mushroom head, down at the foot of that, there's some pigment.
Well, there's some pigment there as well, yeah.
Yeah. These bits here are not particularly pigmented. This would look amelanotic.
Yeah.
Those pigmented cells are actually melanophages. They're not malignant cells.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I'll get better at driving this.
It's a little bit glitchy. I can see that we're going to need to allow a little bit extra time because of downloading. So
So sorry, you were saying the
so that's the breech and Brooks membrane, but if you follow that down to where it attaches to the choroid, so put your mouse in the green square in the thumbnail and drag the green square in the thumbnail, down to where it joins onto the choroid.
Down here.
Yeah, down to there. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
You can just drag it in the thumbnail.
That's a much easier way of going around.
Yeah, that's why I'm helping you navigate. That's my job.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, see, now we're here.
Yeah.
Okay. And when that renders, there will be pigment in the.
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of see it there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's one thing that I had a bit of trouble with, because I always thought, melanoma, it's going to be pigmented. And then you have a look at all these slides in the books and there's hardly any pigment there. And I'm like, what?
That is true. There's hardly any pigment there. And most of the pigment here is melanophages.
Yeah.
So we've described the cells, differential diagnosis, because we've identified the melanin is probably in the malignant cells. It has to be a melanoma. There is no differential diagnosis.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm, yeah.
So in the book, you see the collar button mushroom shape. So metastatic tumor won't typically do that shape either. So
you won't do that, and it won't give you
yeah. So diagnosis, category diagnosis will be
uveal melanoma.
Uveal melanoma arising in the choroid. Prognostic factors. We have to discuss prognostic factors.
Yeah, so let's have a little look. So first off, let's say cell type. So there's epithelioid cells there, which is a poor prognostic marker.
And then Eagle says size. As you know, clinically size is really important. Now you see down in the bottom left corner, there is of the main window, there is a scale bar. How broad across the diameter is this tumor approximately? So low power.
40%. 40 to 50%.
How many millimeters across the base? See, it's now got a 2 millimeter marker. Now, if you click the 3 dots in the upper left, it'll bring up the menu here. Okay. Now we can rotate the tumor so that it's lined up more closely to the ruler at the bottom. So click that to rotate it. There we go. And then you pick up the slide and you just put it on top of the ruler. So it's clearly bigger than 2.5 millimeters. Like 5, 10.
All that, yeah.
Well, closing the rooms now and bringing everyone back.
Cool.
Thank you.
That's all right. And then the last thing will be the clinical. So that's the 6th step thing that we did. So Lucy's back. Anyone else back?
Yeah, so I'm forcing everyone to come back. In 1 minute, they'll all come back. One of the things that I noticed, Amanda, is, and we need to talk again about artifact, about why there's a bit of tumour lying outside the globe, even though there isn't actually an invasion of the sclera, and what the fold is happening at the inferior part of the tumour.
Yes. So maybe that we should address artifacts before we address normal.
Yeah.
So
So
Chris, stop share.
everyone to come back.
Oh yeah, that'd be useful, wouldn't it? Well, let's see if
Sorry,
I can-
has everyone been back for a while? Because I only just arrived.
No, everyone's just coming back here.
Oh, okay.
All there yet. I think there's a few missing, aren't there?
Okay, I think everyone might be back.
Yeah, how do I stop sharing?
So just wave your mouse over the Zoom window and the options will come up, and there should be the red button that says stop share. Yes, that's one. Good.
Okay, so that's what we'll be doing, and then we'll all come back together once we've looked at the slides, and Amanda and I will help you sort out stuff. Okay, so that's what pair programming is, and that's what we'll be doing a lot over the next little while.
And feel free to do your own pair programming in the interim too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll put up on the drive the material for next week when we finish this session, so you'll see it come up on the slides.
All right. Does everybody have any comments that they want to talk about the pair programming? What was like difficult stuff, so that we can problem solve we can talk about any issues before they escalate. So what was artifacts?
So Mark and I think maybe because of my connection, but took it, to be honest, the 5 minutes were gone before we were able to have a high magnification look at the cellular body to determine if there was an extinction or not. So basically, I think, I don't know whether it's my connection or that's, I mean, the slide was actually, the magnification was going in its own way. We couldn't choose which area we wanted to magnify. It was just random. That was just trying to cover the whole area, and we didn't have the time.
Okay, so we can give a demonstration of how to navigate a digital slide. So I was in the room with Chris, and we learned a few navigation tips and how to use the thumbnail, for example. So we can share that, Maya. So that's good feedback.
I think Moa's means more.
Sorry.
It didn't load. The image didn't load for us.
Probably his connections. Our one was loading okay.
Yeah, it's my connection then. Yeah.
Is there someone where you can go to get faster connection?
Yeah. I'm not in my, I'm not actually at home.
Okay.
Palmerston North Moa.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to see that a reasonable connection is going to be necessary.
Yeah.
We found it hard to, because the tumor was so large, once you're high magnification, we found it hard to cover the whole area to make sure we didn't miss any areas.
We will show you. So Chris, what did you learn about the thumbnail view for that?
Yeah, so the top right where you've got the thumbnail, you can just click and drag the little green box around, so you've actually got an idea of where you are in the big picture when you're in the small picture. That makes sense?
If you look at some of our Kura Cloud videos, we just navigate in an efficient way, and you'll see how we do it. We don't explicitly say this is how you navigate, but you'll see.
Okay, so we'll add navigation tips before we begin next week. Yeah.
Some of the Kura Cloud lessons, we use different slide viewers. That was the leads one, but we've got about 6 different slide viewers, and some of them need you to log on first, like Path Presenter. You'll need to make an account for yourself. It's all free, but then it'll remember you if you use the same viewer again. We like Path Presenter because all of our slides are on there.
So I think we're coming close to the end of our day today. We've run a bit over time, but hopefully you don't mind too much. You've got one last task, haven't you, Amanda? And before we do our final wrap up.
Before our final wrap up. So let me just go back into here. So the way we improve the offerings for our teaching, for you, for learning, so that everybody becomes better, including us, is evaluation. So I have got a 12 short question or tick the box evaluation survey, and we'd like you all to do it, please. And then
You're popping it into chat?
I'm just doing it now. So if you can click the link, it's completely anonymous. I don't know who you are. You can write what you like. And we'll give you 5 minutes to do that.
Will it take 5 minutes?
Maybe 3 minutes.
3 minutes, probably.
Yeah, you can turn your video off while you're doing it, and when you finish it, turn your video back on. Then we know that you've done it.
So I just wanted to ask, for that last task that we just did, like, will you talk about what the diagnosis was and what we should have like been able to get through in that period, or like will we talk about that later? Like, just not sure how much we, like, how do we know if we got the right diagnosis, and if we, you know, is that what will be coming that at the end of each session, or?
So yeah, so that slide is actually one of the Kura Cloud slides, so you will get talked through it in Kura Cloud.
Oh, good. Okay.
And yes, when we're doing it live next week, we will definitely come back and talk you through it all.
Oh, good. Okay, because we weren't sure, like, you know, about a few things.
We will definitely support you to do all that. The key thing that we were trying to do there was to develop the skills so that you can actually do it. It was like a technical run through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So see you in a few minutes when you've done your
so
survey
and then pop back.
And then turn it back on when you're finished.
Yeah. Okay, we're nearly all back.
To go.
Okay, so while you were filling in your survey, I Googled how to upload a student assignment onto Google Classroom, and I just posted the first link that came up, which was a little video showing how you upload student assignments onto Google Classroom. So that'll be how you do it. And we're just waiting for Nicola to come back.
So Diane, where will the recordings go?
So the recordings will go to the cloud, and we are still recording, and hopefully the cloud will send me a link, and I will send the link out to all you guys, and we'll also put it on the classroom so that you can re-watch any bits that you want. Okay. Yep, so the links are going up, and
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm there. So
Hi.
I'm just I have a quick question. No, so in terms of like that you need to do a bit of reading. I mean, I'm maybe halfway of my material reading, just not all the way through yet. But what other topics or what other things that we are meant to be comfortable with before next week?
Okay, so next week we're going to do the globe and the orbit. So I'll just go down to the classroom, share screen. See, I've remembered to share screen now. And here we go. Right, so next week, we are going to look at intraocular tumours, glaucoma, orbit and lymphoma, lacrimal gland. Okay, so those are the topics that we're going to do next week.
When I look at my Google Classroom under classwork, I don't see all of those headings.
That's because I've not posted them yet. That's why they're in grey.
Yeah.
But those are the ones we're going to do. So I can post those. But those are the links to the slides that we're going to look at, which is why they're not up there. But those are the topics we're covering next time. And then the week, then we'll go the week where we're just going to have a week where we're going to pair program and the time to come together and us to mentor. And then the following week, we're going to do the things that, the other things. So we're going to do the lid, the cornea, the skin, all that kind of stuff.
So when we present our 5-slide PowerPoint, that's the timing depends on when our topic is being.
That's right. So if you get an eye and orbit one, you'll do it next week. And if you have a skin one, you'll do it on the last weekend.
And when we're presenting that, we just share screen and talk through it over 5 minutes.
That's right, for 5 minutes. And remember, it's not an info dump. It's a meta-analysis of the questions, looking at the topics, the tasks, and your top tips from having done some questions yourself.
Diane, can I ask Diane and Amanda, a quick question? My topic is infections. Is that intraocular?
Yeah, so
orbit, all of those.
Yes, it's all infections. So acanthamoeba, fungal infections, trachoma, toxoplasma, anything infection-y.
Yeah. So will I present on both sessions of presenting if we're splitting up there?
So you'll be on the second part.
Okay.
So what about the retinal stuff? Is that the orbit?
Sorry, the retinal stuff?
Retinal stuff, like retina.
Oh, the retina. So that's in the globe, the retina. So diabetes, that kind of thing is next week. So we'll be publishing the schedule for next week soon, and then you will see exactly who's doing what when. Great. So thank you so much for participating. It's been a really great session. You've participated well, and I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it, Amanda?
Oh, it's all been good fun. So
yeah, this has been a kind of setting up session. We'll get more into it next time. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Amanda.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Okay.